Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
Well, hello, everybody. If you're out there right now waiting to hear the voice of Ryan Rishaug, he is not here tonight. He made probably one of the biggest mistakes of his life. He's left town. He's on a road somewhere between Alberta and Saskatchewan, and he left the show to myself and Jason Strudwick. When the mom's out of town, the kids can play, and that's what we're going to do tonight. So welcome to Got Your Back, brought to you by Play Alberta. Why choose Play Alberta? Just ask any hockey fan who loves odd boosts, players, props, and same-game parlays, or slot players who love the massive jackpots, or lottery players who can grab last-minute tickets on the go. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB12. Visit playalberta.ca. Hey, how are you doing, everyone, tonight? It's Rob Brown. I'm about to be joined by my good friend, Jason Strudwick, as we are in the Adrenaline Diesel studio, which tonight is remote from my basement. And if you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Hello, Struds. How are you?
What a start. Coming out in hot and ready to go. Jeez, that was smooth, buddy.
Oh, I just throwing everything out there. Got like 37 reads tonight. I thought I could get them all done in the first 10 minutes, and then we just talk about anything.
So
How
good.
was your day?
So good. Yeah, it's nice. Shoggy's away. We got Zoobs, men's league, another high muffins going top shelf on them. And then you, me, and Steve-O. So really the all-star team together is what they're talking about. I can see it trending on Twitter already.
Well, I heard Zuby didn't want to miss it because they're still voting for the all-star team in the Division 12 Beer League, and he doesn't want to lose any of his votes. So he's in a big game tonight, and Shogger right now, somewhere on the highway between here and Saskatchewan. I believe he's out moving his son home here at Christmas time. So we are just the two of us, and down below we see Steve-O. How are you doing tonight, Steve-O?
Oh, I'm doing great, boys. I'm looking forward to this one. Just us, the bosses are away. We can do whatever we want.
yeah, this might be the train wreck that they've been fearing for years.
I think it's going to be elite. I'm going for elite. We finally cut some of the dead weight here.
Trim some of the fat, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going like my entire career. I'm just looking for mediocrity. If I can get through with a mediocre night tonight that allows me to stay one more podcast, I feel I've succeeded.
That's right. Not get sent down, right? You don't want to get sent down. That's the big challenge. So, yeah, you know what? I think it's funny. You have a couple games that haven't been ideal for the Oilers, and you kind of have a day to think or a night to think about in a day. And, I don't know if I've changed my mind's Brownie, but it definitely kind of gets you thinking about, just where they're at and just right now in this kind of cycle of play. Because I think there's always cycles of play over a year. You're never perfect all the time, right? There's cycles of good and bad.
Well, I think we hear about it from Craig McTavish every time the Oilers are on a winning streak or a losing streak. You will go back to McTavish at one point saying that when you're on a winning streak and it gets extended, you're not playing as well as you had been near the end of the streak. Some of the bad habits start to creep in. And the opposite, when you're on a long losing streak, you actually at the end are starting to play better, and it just doesn't get noticed because of the losses. And I do believe that the last two games from the Oilers, they got away from what had made them successful. They were, it was 2 goals and less in game after game after game. They're playing good defensive hockey. The game against Vegas, they won 6-3, but to me, that was a game that Stuart Skinner just badly outplayed Aiden Hill. Vegas played good in that game. They did a lot of good things, and the Oilers gave up a lot of grade A chances against, but they outscored their mistakes. And then last game, obviously, they scored 5. They still couldn't outscore their mistakes because they made that many big ones. So to me, I think the Oilers' winning streak, they started sliding away from what had made them successful. In the last 2 games, I think we really saw some of the parts of the game that they got rid of creep back in, and just defensively, they were not near as strong as they had been.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's kind of the thing I've been thinking about. Just they've had a good run here, right? You just think back to the last 4 games: Tampa, Minnesota, Vegas, and then the defending Cup champions. And they got 3 out of 4. Now the last 2 weren't perfect, but I think if we went back, 8 days, Brownie, and said, hey, we can get 6 out of 8 points out of these next 4 games. It's like, really? What? We'll take it. Which team we're losing to? Oh, not Florida. Lose to anyone but Florida. But still, at least they got the points. And so, practice today, practice was on Tuesday, and then Wednesday is the day off for the players, and then fired up against Boston, a team that's been. I have no idea what Boston is. I don't know if they're good or bad. Sinking, ascending, new coach. They're a really hard team to read, and Pasternak has been really quiet. So, you win on Thursday, and you have a pretty good little run here going against some decent teams for sure.
Well, they're 8-2 in their last 10. They have a chance here. They got 3 more games before Christmas. If you run the table, all of a sudden you're 11-2 in your last 13 games. You go into a Christmas break. You have 5-6 days off. I did an event today with RNH and Derek Ryan, and they said I think they have 4 days off at Christmas. Now that is a long Christmas break, and you don't normally get it. But to go into a Christmas break on this kind of a run, if they win their last 3 games, it's just a good feeling. A good feeling when you're away from the rink and there's no stress on you because your team is playing the way it's supposed to. You're in the standings now where you're supposed to be. So I think that the next 3 games, as much as the last 4 are important just because who they're playing against, I think the next 3 games kind of set up what would be the post-Christmas schedule, feeling good about yourselves.
No, for sure. Why don't you take us into the breakdown, buddy?
Well, let's take you into the breakdown, which is brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. The Drive at Home holiday event is here. Get up to $13,600 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Laramie Crew Cab. See your local Ram dealer today. Well, let's start. First of all, you know what? Before we start the breakdown, let's get a bit of a breakdown about the defensive breakdowns in the last couple of games from Coach Chris Knobloch on the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Get your home holiday ready with Weiss Johnson. With any new furnace installed before Christmas, they're offering free duct cleaning. Everybody should have their ducts clean at Christmas time. Whether your old furnace is given up or you're just looking to upgrade for a cozier holiday, they've got you covered, and your ducts too. Visit WeissJohnson.com for more details.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
And this here is Chris Knobloch.
Mostly, anytime you give up goals, it's usually you think about the defensive lapses. And for me, what I saw was just not making the plays, getting the puck out. Numerous chances to break the puck out, didn't get done. Whether the forwards weren't coming back to support or the defenseman not making a pass, maybe there was not any communication to help the defenseman with the puck. I think that was probably the biggest thing from what I saw.
I think you can tell when a team is everything. I think everything starts with clean breakouts out of your own zone. And when you're not having clean breakout out of your zone, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but you're obviously not getting out of your zone. It's stalling in the neutral zone, and then you're not able to play in the offensive zone as much as you want. So, we saw multiple times where the Oilers just kind of stalled out getting out of their own zone. It's, D not communicating with Guy, or D not passing up to the forwards, and then the forwards not getting it out. Maybe there's no communication there. So I think that's something they would have kind of dialed in, talking about today in practice. And again, just because they don't practice it doesn't mean they don't talk about it when you go to practice, right? There's a lot of times some video clips. Let's just watch 2 clips here of this failed breakout or this failed exit of our own zone.
Now, do you think it was the Oilers just got away from the basics? Do you think it was the 2 teams they played against, a very aggressive Vegas Golden Knight team who's very aggressive on the forecheck? We know that they're a big, strong team. Florida, again, and you talked about it last night, a fast team that's physical and getting very quickly on the forecheck. Do you think it was one or the other? Do you think it was a combination of both as to why the Oilers struggled in their own zone the last 2 games?
Yeah, that's a good question. When you look at Tampa and Minnesota, I don't think they're as hard a forechecking team as these guys are. These guys being Vegas and Florida. I think Vegas would probably be bigger, as well as Florida. I think up front. And although Minnie's got some pretty decent sized guys, but they're not maybe quite as big. But it's just when a forechecker continues to move his feet and gets in on you, you have no time, and it's really, really hard to make plays. So I think it's two things. I think it's one, maybe the Oilers on a good run, and you start to soften your play a little bit, and then two, I think they ran into two teams that both are aggressive forecheck, and they come hard and they put pressure on you. Like I keep thinking back to the the Reinhardt goal. That where he had Ekholm kind of stumble, right? And now it happens. These things happen, but he's feeling he's got to get going. That's where you're like, I got to get going. Just like when Nurse came out of the penalty box and he stumbled, he's like, man, I got to get going. And that's when you kind of stumble over your feet, or even the stumble where Bouchard stumbled on the breakaway. Again, I got to get my feet going here really quick. And that is when you are feeling anxious around word, but you're feeling a little bit of pressure. That's when those types of things happen. They don't happen when you're not under pressure, or it's rare. It's more rare, I should say.
Well, actually, I do think the word anxious is a good word for it. And think about how many times we've seen McDavid pick up speed in his own end and start flying up the ice, and a defenseman stumble on the opposition because there's a fear, there's an anxiety, and all of a sudden I got to go faster than I'm probably capable of doing, and they fall down. It happens, I don't know, once a game where McDavid will make a guy fall down, and simply they're trying to go faster than they possibly can. And Ekholm, that was a great point where Ekholm, Reinhardt had him. Reinhardt's faster than I thought he was, but he had him, and Ekholm tried to put it into another gear that he didn't have, and eventually Reinhardt scores. It's funny, we never really did talk about the Nurse one last night after the game. That was I've been there where you got a breakaway, and someone that doesn't get a breakaway often. Nurse has, I don't know, probably got on his one hand how many breakaways he's had in his career. He's got a chance. He sees just the goalie, and he's excited. He's got 6 minutes of penalties in the game. He's coming out of the penalty box. Anyone that's ever had a penalty, the dream is the puck to bounce out as you're coming out of the box. He can hear the guy coming, and now I just got to go that next level. I just got to go a little bit faster. And once you start to stumble, there's nothing you could possibly do to get yourself back. You've lost all coordination, and in your head, I'm going down. And I've done it in opposing rinks, and it's really embarrassing. But on your own rink, it's like, oh no. And just the look on his face as he's getting up, like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, even as he skated back to the bench, he kind of had that smile like, are these guys going to chirp me? But one of the funniest stories, so a guy that played for the Oilers, Scott Ferguson, amazing guy. And
Kamloops Blazer?
Kamloops Blazer, yeah. So Fergie got a penalty, and then on the way, same thing happened, this scenario where he came out of the penalty box and the puck was on his stick, and he's gone for a breakaway. So he tells the story. So he's playing for the Oilers against the Avalanche, and he's going in on the breakaway, and he blows a wheel and slides into the corner and doesn't even get a shot off. Nothing. So he comes back to the bench. Mac T's the coach. He's just sitting there feeling like the biggest loser. Like he had, not even a shot. Then all of a sudden from the forward end of the bench, someone yells out, "Way to skate, Fergie!" And he said the whole bench, the whole bench just exploded in laughter. One of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
Oh, with Nurse too. That's one of those ones where it'll be a week or two down the line and you're in practice and someone's going to do it. Someone's going to come out and pretend they're Nurse coming out of the box and go down. Someone's got that one in their back pocket. Today in practice, and here's something to talk about for you and I, Jason. No Zach Hyman, which is obvious. He had a doctor appointment today because he's trying to get his nose back into place.
Gordon Ramsay to fix that thing.
Again, the fact that he came back and played, it's one thing wearing the bubble, but having those two tubes up his nose, he can't breathe through his nose. Unbelievable. But so he's not today. Arvidsson skates. Arvidsson skates on McDavid and Nugent Hopkins line, more or less as a placeholder because Hyman, they talked that he's going to play on Thursday. Arvidsson is either in on Thursday or in on Saturday. One of the two is Knobloch said in his availability today. Where do you think Arvidsson fits in? To me, looking at the lines today, Leon was with Kapanen and Podkolzin. Henrique, Brown, and Janmark were together. Skinner was bumped down to the fourth line. He's playing with Ryan and Perry. So Arvidsson is just a placeholder today. Say he plays Thursday or he plays Saturday with no other injuries. To me, the Draisaitl was still with Kapanen and Podkolzin today. That tells me, okay, they could have put Arvidsson with those two if that's where they want him, and then moved Kapanen as a placeholder, moved someone up as a placeholder. So I don't see Arvidsson going right away with Leon. I think they like Kapanen there right now. So where do you have Arvidsson?
Well, if he was only a placeholder today, that's usually a bad sign for him playing on Thursday. So I'm guessing we'll be able to kick this down the road a little bit. Because usually if he was coming back Thursday, he would say it was a full team practice. He would be practicing with his line. So that tells me he's not going to play Thursday, just in my experience of being there. So let's assume he was going to play. The fact that Skinner was pushed down, I think that's a real bad sign for him. For him. I think it's a good sign for Paul Colton and Kapanen, because that means that old 2-9 likes to play with you guys. You know what I mean? Like if it was whoever, if he's, if it's somebody he loves to play with and that guy's back, he's like, oh, he's back on my wing. Like he's not 100%. Warming up on line 4. He's back with me. So that means Arvidsson would have to be he'd probably have to be on the third line.
Well, yeah, but they bumped up and put Janmark and Brown aren't sitting out.
No,
they like them. So they move them up to the third line. So do you start Arvidsson on your fourth line? Do you put him there? And all of a sudden, I don't know. It was funny, though, that's where they put Arvidsson today in practice, and they moved Skinner down. Again, I agree. Not a good sign if you're Jeff Skinner.
No, it's not. Like Brown's not going down. He's playing, he's scoring, he's
very
doing well. Janmark, same thing. Henrique, so Arvidsson, I guess he could be on the fourth line. I mean,
the only other option, but you know what it's like. Usually when they run practice, especially after a game, they weren't good defensively. You want to run your lines the way you want because you want, okay, let's get some consistency here. Now, another option at some point is you could put Janmark as your fourth line center. And then Arvidsson can play on your third, and then Skinner, Perry, and Janmark. But Janmark, they like Janmark. They like what he does as well.
Oh, he's not coming out.
No. Oh, God, no. Skinner's the one that, again, Skinner, here's Skinner's problem. And a problem for a guy that's scored 30, 100 times. He likes to create his own chances. And sometimes he tries to do too much to do it. And I think that's partly playing in Buffalo. They didn't have a true centerman there that could get him the puck. So for him to score, he had to create more. So I think he always tries to do a little bit more than he probably should or could. And that's where the defensive miscues come in. And there's a few last game again. And when you are not playing in the top 6, when you're playing on the third or fourth line, you're making defensive miscues, you're finding yourself getting less and less ice time. Because when you are third or fourth, you make simple plays. You make simple plays every single time. And I don't know if that's in Jeff Skinner's DNA yet. So to me, Jeff Skinner moving down to the fourth line with players coming back into the lineup, that's not a good thing.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again here now. I believe that there's going to be a mutual agreement to say, guys, this just isn't working out. And I'm not running Skinner out of town, but he's a good player. Like, I know that you haven't seen, not you, but we haven't seen the best of him. And maybe his style doesn't fit with this team, or maybe there isn't a fit, whatever it is. But he's a good player, people. This guy can score. He's a good player. And I think that there's going to be some kind of agreement where we say, okay, this isn't working. Let's find a solution to this where we can move you somewhere where you're going to get a chance to play and play more than he's not a fourth liner. Like I truly believe he's a good player. He just doesn't maybe fit the way the Oilers want to play or in the role they need him to play on this team, because you can't carry the puck on the top 2 lines. That is not your job. That is there's 2 guys in the middle that not only want the puck, they need it because they're the best 2 players in the world, or 2 of the best 5 in the world, right?
Well, and here's another thing for Skinner. You come in with the big signing, one of the big signings this offseason. You've been pushed down the depth chart by wasn't Captain of waiver wire pickup?
He is, yeah. So Yeah.
And you moved out. You're below him in the depth chart.
You are. It's because the upside is way better with Skinner, right? So if you're thinking we want to have as much firepower in our lineup we can, scoring upside for sure higher in Skinner. It's just not quite showing itself right now. So let's if I think Arvidsson is actually playing, I think he's going to end up beside Leon. And I think Kapanen the one who goes down. I truly feel that way. But because he's not on Simon wasn't there today and he's not playing Thursday, I don't believe he wasn't in the regular lineup.
So that gives Kapanen one more opportunity.
One more. Yeah.
If he's playing and Kapanen's played well. He's played very, very well.
Yeah. I know Rishaug doesn't want to believe this, but I have a hard time letting him go on waivers. I think he gets picked up.
I think he does 100%. I think he gets picked up ahead of other players on the Edmonton Oilers if they were to waive them. And we can say anything we want because Rishaug doesn't get last say today.
No.
So, I mean, anything you say.
Well, I'll say it. Raphael Laval will get picked up. Raphael Laval will get picked up before him. So.
Well, actually, no, Rishaug's going to do. Rishaug's going to come on. He's going to dub over top of some of the things we're saying. Yeah, and all of a sudden you'll hear his voice. Well, actually, I think. But anyways, before we get to the next segment, let's go to the Relentless Player with Jason Strudwick, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is the foundation for growth and success and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. Who do we got there, Struds?
Well, it's kind of the same game, but 2 different stories. I got Patrick Laine, hat trick tonight, 3 power play goals. He's on fire, this guy, and he's being loved by that fan base. So he was relentless in his pursuit of offense, but then I think I got to give it 2 claps on a woo to Buffalo Sabres. 11 straight losses in a row. That is relentless pursuit of the bottom. And their owner was in there on Monday, and they're like, we got the message. We hear you loud and clear. 6-1 against a team that's barely ahead of you. Well, I guess they are a little bit ahead, but not that much better than you. That team is dead. You're flogging. What is it saying? Don't flog a dead horse. Like that horse isn't even breathing. It's buried right now. That is a disaster. 11 in a row losses. Like that is wow. So that I think I'm going to give it to Buffalo for their relentless pursuit of the bottom of the standings.
You know how hard it would be to lose 11 games in a row? I mean, you would think at some point a puck luck would go your way or your goalie would stand on their head or the other goalie would struggle. But what is shocking about that is the fact that their owner came in. Now, it's like you get a coach gets fired. There's always like little burst where you play above yourselves for a couple games. If your owner comes in and talks to you, you would think, okay, that's the guy that pays the bills. So, yeah, that's a good one. Relentless Player tonight is the entire Buffalo Sabres Hockey Club for their 11th straight loss. That's the end of this segment number 1. We will be back after these commercials for segment number 2, and we'll do takeaways. Jason Strudwick and I on Got Your Back.
At HSE Core, we are dedicated to providing unparalleled safety compliance services to small and medium-sized businesses through our monthly health and safety program management, including managing contractor screening registries and core auditing services. Let HSE Core Services help you maintain a safe workplace for you and your valued employees. Visit us at hsecore.com.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
No Rishaug today, but we've got Struds and Brown, and we are going to the takeaways segment of our show tonight, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Discover a new way to ride this winter with a Widescape from Martin Motorsports. The ultimate snowmobile for outdoor adventures, lightweight, agile, just like my friend Struds, and made for exploring off-trail. Stand up, take control, and carve your way through uncharted winter terrain. Visit Martin Motorsports today to learn more about the Widescape. All right, Struds, takeaways here. The one thing that I'm taking away from last night's game, Zach Hyman takes a puck in the face. When I played, I was a net front presence on a power play. And as a player, your focus is on the guy shooting the puck, but trying to find space in front of the net while battling a guy who's usually bigger and stronger than you. So all these things are going on at the same time. And you're also knowing, okay, there's the player. I want to be able to screen the goalie, but I want to touch the puck as it's coming in to change direction. I had no player in my day that could shoot like Evan Bouchard. And in the last week, and Evan Bouchard's got an incredibly accurate shot, which is amazing how many shots he takes, how seldom he hits his own player. But in the last week, I'm guessing he broke Middleton from Minnesota's hand because he's on long-term IR, played one shift in that game. And then last night it tipped, but it hit Hyman in the face. I did an event today with Nugent Hopkins and Derek Ryan, and I asked them, when you were playing, are you cognizant of who's shooting from the point? Do you know when it's Bouchard? And they both said the same thing, yes, but more so in practice as opposed to the game. Because in a game, they said, we're focused on so many other things. We know, but it's in practice where they know exactly where he's shooting, the angle he's shooting from, and everything. They say he's very, very accurate, but there's always a chance it could hit something. As a defenseman, you've got a guy in front of the net. Are you at all thinking about where you're putting the puck, missing the guy, finding his stick, or you got head down blasting away?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I wasn't very skilled. I was just trying to hit the 4x6. I just trying to get it there, and it wasn't like I was going to break anyone if it hit them. A lot of times they had to get the broom out to sweep it to all the way across the goal line. So no, I don't think I ever hit anyone and actually hurt them. Like I don't know if I even had 50 shots a season. So it wasn't like there was a ton. There's guys with 50 shots in a week, 2 weeks. So, but I did play against guys like, or with guys like Sheldon Surrey, bombs, Adrian O'Coin, bomb, Al McInnes, bomb, like just absolute bombs. And I remember you'd be standing in front of the net, killing penalties, just praying it didn't hit you. And I got hit by Al McInnes one time, and I didn't think my foot was there. I didn't want to look down. I was like Sergeant Dan from Forrest Gump, like gone. Just you're so scared, right, of it not being there, and ultimately it was, but it just hurts so much. It's so painful. So I don't know. And this is just me. I'd rather have the puck go hard from like my knees down rather than hard high. High is scary. That's where it gets like Kovalchuk shoot it high all the time from the flank. You're like, please God, don't hit my face. But there's nothing you can do. You're standing there. There's nothing. You just put the white blindfold on and put the dart in your mouth and just hope it doesn't hit you. Like you're praying. I'd rather go in the net than hit me.
Well, it's funny though. Like Sheldon Surrey, he used to go bar down. Like Evan Bouchard he's not very often is he going top shelf. Surrey was going top shelf every time. I remember Dustin Penner standing in front of the net. I'm like, oh, this could hurt. But the problem is the battles, I don't think, are as vicious in front of the net now as they were 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
That's distracting. They're not as distracting.
Yes. So now, like when in those days, I mean, you're fighting with someone and you don't even see the puck coming. So I give credit, to anyone in the National Hockey League, great net front presence, but anyone that goes out and tries to block an Evan Bouchard shot. Like you see the bench on the opposition, they get up and there's a loud applause when one of those guys lays down or gets in front of a shot. But Zach Hyman did not practice today, but they said there is no concussion. It's a broken nose, shockingly. And they think Knobloch believes he will play in Thursday's game against the Boston Bruins.
They're going to have to find like an astronaut's helmet to get a visor over top of that thing. It is. Can you imagine what that thing looks like today? Like That I honestly, I like I said, I never broke my nose. My nose would get, I'd get hit or whatever and swell up. And I remember the one guy, I got into a fight and the guy said to me, "Your nose looks like a baked potato." And I was like, God, that is such a mean thing to say, but it's true. It looked huge, absolutely huge on the end of it. And so I stole that, but added the twice baked for Zach. And I'm laughing about it. He'll be fine. But it is just like your nose gets so big. And, every time you move or sneeze or laugh, it just hurts. You're like, oh, it's just awful. It's awful. So,
Hyman did not have a good sleep last night. No way he did.
No way.
So one of the other things, and Knobloch talked about it earlier, the defensive lapses, Leon Draisaitl, and we're going to go back here in a few seconds to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. He also talked about they've gotten away in the last couple of games of what made them successful, and we're going to hear Leon Draisaitl talk about it right now.
We know that we're not going to win very many games giving up 6 goals, and if we keep it to 2 or 3, most nights, we give ourselves a pretty good chance at winning games. So we got great culture in here, and we know that everyone's aware of that, so we'll get back to that.
I think Struds right there, you see what this team, they understand. They know what made them successful last year when they won 16 in a row, when they went on their run in the playoffs. Team can score, but they found out the number of seasons before, you can't outscore mistakes when you get into the big games. So I do like the fact that Leon threw out the word culture. And we know that we have not been good. And think about it, they beat Vegas a couple of days ago, but he realizes it wasn't good enough. To me, just listening to Leon there is like, okay, they understand, and I expect a much better defensive effort against Boston in a couple of days.
Well, it's nice to score 3 and win, but it sucks to score 5 and lose. You know what I mean? Like so they just have to tighten up a little bit, and they know it, and they've learned those lessons. Those are the lessons they've learned, and they understand it. Their culture is that way now. That's what they demand of each other. That's what they expect of each other. Just continue to do that. So they're saying and doing all the right things. They look like a team that can contend for a Stanley Cup. Now, does it mean they're going to win it this year? I don't know, but they're in the zone to understand how they're supposed to do it. I mean, things can go sideways, right? Injuries or another team gets hot or whatever. But I just don't see every year that the Oilers have been in let's say this pretty good window. Like Colorado, the year they won it, there was nobody as being Colorado. That team was so good and so deep. Vegas, the year they beat the Oilers, people say the Oilers could have won that series. I don't agree. I don't think they're with them. I don't think they're with them. Last year, Florida, close. Man, you're 2 shots away from it. But Florida gone through the same thing the Oilers did, the year before. So does history repeat itself? Maybe. But these are all lessons they've learned the real hard way. And remember when they lost to Vegas, how sad it was, Shocker? Or Brownie? Like everybody, the city was just devastated. The players were like, no one knew how to react at all. I remember consoling friends and family members. It was the end of days here in Edmonton.
Okay, well, that takes us into this one. Biggest threat in the Pacific. I believe the Oilers are good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Again, doesn't mean they're going to. Yeah. But I do believe that they are in the mix. Who would be the biggest threat do you see in the Pacific Division to derailing that?
Yeah, you know what? I don't believe in Vancouver, and I'll tell you why. Elias Pettersson. I love his skill, and I know you love the way he shoots and his Swedish, accent and all that. But I just think when things get tough, I don't think that old Petey's going to be there. I don't think he's the guy that's going to be, gritty like a JT Miller. And you don't need to run around and fight everyone and play hard like JT Miller does, but there's a certain level of pushbacks that's required as the games get heavier. And I haven't seen it yet from Pettersson. Now he may have it. And just like we talked about the Oilers, they figured it out. Maybe he'll figure it out. But, you just think about it from what you've seen from him. Let's use 2 Europeans. Leon's European, Pettersson's European. Have we ever seen Pettersson play heavy and kind of mean like Leon and create his own space? I haven't seen it. And I know we have some fans from the Canucks that listen. I'm not doing this to stir it up or to piss people off. I'm just calling as I see it. This is what I think is here, Brownie. So with Vancouver, I'm not too worried about it. The Kings, they beat the Kings before. I think they could do it again. So where does that bring me back around to, right? I think it's pretty clear, back to Vegas. So I think Vegas is a team I love their D. Their D are big, they're mobile, they play well, and they're very good group of D. I don't think their forwards are as deep as we've seen in the past. I believe that to be their weakness, compared to, when Marchessault was there and all these types of guys. But I think that it just, unfortunately, it feels like, or fortunately, maybe you have to beat, your bully, to beat up the bully in the schoolyard to get out. And then maybe Vegas is their team, Brownie. So I'll go back to Vegas. It's Vegas again, if that's the team they have to get out.
I agree. I think that anyone coming out of the Western Conference is going to have to go through Edmonton or Vegas or both of them. So I think I think Edmonton and the Vegas are the two best teams in the entire conference right now. I mean, some of the other teams, Dallas or Colorado, can add, and they'll get better. I mean, you can never count out Colorado. They got McKinnon and Makar and Rantanen, all three of the best in the world. But right now in the Pacific Division, it's going to be Vegas fighting against the Edmonton Oilers. And I've got a new respect for Jack Eichel over the last couple of years. Was never a fan of Jack Eichel, but he can play. He's the anti-McDavid. Everything that McDavid does is at 120 miles an hour. Seems like everything Jack Eichel does is at about 60 miles an hour, but you can't get the puck off either one of them. So that's who I think there. So, but before we leave this segment, we got a couple more things. Let's do to the YouTube poll. This is brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Holiday deals have arrived at DeBoer's with savings you don't want to miss. 50% off all in-stock clothing and footwear. Stocking stuffers galore, including Titleist Pro V1 and Strixon Z Star golf balls, all on sale. Or for the golfer who has it all, give the gift of choice with a gift card. Locally owned and operated, proudly serving golfers for 25 years. Experience, unmatched service, premium products, and incredible holiday savings. What do we got, Steve-O?
Okay, so yeah, I know we were talking about some fun Christmas ones before the show, but I pivoted when you guys started talking about Skinner and where he was going to be playing. So the question simply that I asked on the poll was, which line will Jeff Skinner be on in April? And the four answers, the four choices that I gave were second line, third line, fourth line, or elsewhere, which could mean anything. So what do you guys think?
Struds?
I believe elsewhere. And this isn't me running him out of the town. Like I think I've been very a big advocate for him to find a space in the top two lines and use his talents the way they should be. So if he's not playing, he's also trying to play for a contract next year to put up some numbers. And it doesn't look like, so when we're almost halfway through the year, he hasn't got that opportunity here, guys. Like, is all of a sudden going to change? So I think that mutually they'll come together and say, we're gonna find you a place that works, that's more suitable for you to accomplish your goals, and we'll just move on.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to agree with you too, Struds. I'm just thinking right now they went through injuries where there was no Hyman, no Arvidsson, and no Kane, and in none of those, with all three of them out of the lineup, Skinner didn't get to move up into the top six. So when you get Hyman, Arvidsson. Yeah, when you get those three guys back, where are you putting it? And Jeff Skinner does have a skill set, but his skill set is not made for being on your fourth line. So unfortunately, I agree with you. And then you open up a little cap space and you bring someone else in. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope he finds some success here, but right now it's not looking like it. All right, Struds, you want to do the scoreboard?
Sure, let's scoreboard it up.
All right, this scoreboard is brought to you by Canadian Club. In honor of the founding year of the Canadian Club Distillery, 1858, that was the year that Jason Strudwick was born, the all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at an incredible 58% ABV for all you whiskey connoisseurs out there. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date is a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish that is so smooth. Struds, what do you got?
The Bruins are in town to play the Oilers on Thursday, but tonight they were down in Cowtown and they lost 4-3 in overtime. So, it feels like right now the Flames are kind of coming back to more in line of what the expectations were for them this season. They're kind of dropping oil here pretty quickly. The Pens beat the Kings also in overtime. The Pens trying to stay in the fight. The Kings have had a very good run here recently. And then we already talked about the shellacking that the Sabres got from the mighty Habs, 6-1. Everyone's watching that, but everyone is watching the Rangers and how their season's going. So they went in and took on the mighty Preds. The Preds visited them. And the well-known goal scorer, Adam Wilsby, scored in his 10th game, scored his first goal in the third period to make it 2-0. And that would prove to be the winner. It wouldn't be that. That helped to win it 2-0. The Preds beat the Rangers. I have no idea what that's. Both those things, the Sabres and the Rangers. I mean, Chris Drury kind of brought onto himself a little bit with the round. We're going to get rid of Trouba or whatever. Laviolette, there's got to be some pressure there. And Sabres, these are things to watch because the trade deadline, I think, is Friday. I do think you can make any kind of personnel changes you want as far as coaching and GM anytime you want, but that'd be pretty harsh to do it, 4 days before Christmas. So, anyways, it's fun. I shouldn't say it's fun, but it's very interesting to watch. Two franchises that are really in a tough spot lose again tonight to teams they shouldn't lose to.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres, you would have thought would have been at least pushing for a playoff spot. They went out and got Bowen Byram. They got power there. They got Darlene there. They got Tage Thompson. That is not a team that should lose 11 in a row. And then the Rangers, I mean, that's a perennial Stanley Cup contending team. I mean, you're right. Chris Drury, I mean, he's brought it upon himself. To me, the Buffalo Sabres looked like a team lost. The New York Rangers look like a team that have quit. There's no way that New York Ranger team should be that bad. And they look like they've quit. I don't know if it's either on the coach or the GM or both, but they have quit. And something's going to have to change there for them to come out of that funk.
And what's crazy with all that, they're only 2 points out of a playoff spot, whereas Buffalo is 7 points out of a playoff spot, and they're even below the Habs. Like, it is just a disaster. Actually, it's funny. You look at three teams you thought the Sabres, the Red Wings, and Ottawa would all make a push. The Ottawa are fighting for a playoff spot. Detroit, Canadiens, Sabres, 28, 27, 26 points. Like, even below Columbus. Which
is shocking. Columbus, you would have thought would have been everything that went on with Columbus, with the injuries, all the tragedies. You thought, and you would say, okay, I understand, but good on Columbus for what they do. Embarrassing though for the Rangers and the Sabres. That is the end of that segment. We will come back after this commercial break with.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
I think after. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
This part, it was brought in by DLR Vinyl Products. They are doing this under protest, as they wanted this to be Shona's World, but we couldn't get Shona under contract, not enough money, so we went the cheaper version with Struddy's World. Brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products, with locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Whether you are a homeowner, a contractor, or a builder, DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fence. Unmatched service and high quality North American-made products. Visit DLRvinylproducts.ca. Shona's husband, take us away.
She did it again. She thought she was going to pull the wool over my eyes. And old Uncle Struddy's not falling for it. So if you missed it, I talked about how my wife has tried to change my pillows out and put in poor quality pillows. It's not what I signed up for. Pillows, bed, and shoes. Those are things you don't cheap out on because you spend a lot of time in them, need them. I go into bed the other night. Now, I'm not going to lie. It was after a 50th birthday party, so I didn't really feel a lot that day or that night. But the next night is the one I actually felt it. I crawled into bed. I'm like, ooh, what's going on here? And I realized that on our mattress, she had put a mattress cover to make it softer. And I like my mattresses firm, like I like my abs, hard and firm. I got on this thing. It was like falling to a bucket of feathers. I just slumped into it, back and just falling. My back isn't right. You think I had problems with the pillows, the soft pillows? Now my back is completely ajar. It's all messed up. I'm doing all these different stretching, calisthenics, trying to find myself the right place to sit on. So I know what my wife's up to. She thinks I don't know. I'm not an idiot. I know there's a pad on top of there, and it's really bothering me. So this is going to come to a head. I'm thinking I'll probably wait till after Christmas to pop this zit because I don't want to make it a big problem. But guys, you just imagine the cojones on this person to do twice something that affects you. What's next? Is she going to make my shoes 3 sizes too small? Outrageous.
Oh, I don't understand what's wrong with Shona. Like, seriously, does she not understand that you are the king and it is your house? This is your castle?
Talk to me about it. Let's have a discussion, right? I don't just all of a sudden just paint the house blue, like you talk about it, especially when it comes to beds. I can tell you, beds are the most important thing of the 3, more than shoes, even pillows. The bed has to be right, firm, like a good set of abs, like Batman's abs.
I don't want to, get in between you and Shona in a marital spat here, but just what I'm seeing and the things that she's doing to the bed, it's almost like she's trying to push you into a different bedroom. She's like, you know what? I'm tired with sweaty Struds in bed with me. I want my book. I want my pillows that I like, my covers. I'm going to get, some of those smelly candle things beside the bed, and I'm going to enjoy sleep. So have you noticed, is there another room in the house, a bedroom that's got your pillows in it that maybe she's now slowly moving you into it?
And that may be the plan, right? That may be the plan. And I might have to accept it because this, like, my back is just, what are we doing here? Like, you don't sleep on a bed of feathers, right? It doesn't work. The body's meant to be straight. It's not meant to be bent all over the place. It's not Gumby.
I don't understand what she's doing either. So it is awful. And I tell you what, I'm going to talk to Shona for you, okay? I'm going to take her out for lunch. We're going to have a couple glasses of wine, and I'm going to talk to her for you.
Go to that place in San Albert. What's that place called again? Jilly's?
Gracie Jane's. We're going to Gracie Jane's.
Yeah, that's where I slept. That's why I didn't notice the first night. I had a pretty big birthday party. I didn't feel it the first night, but the second night I caught it.
So, she did that on purpose. She knew you wouldn't feel it the first night. Oh, she's an evil lady. Yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Struddy's World. All right, next we're going to Struddy's favorite segment. We call it Brownie's Point, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you need a unique idea for your team or school's next fundraiser, Hamel's can help your organization raise money by customizing a variety of options of their world-famous jerky. With over 13 flavors in an all-new jerky and pepperoni bundle, there is something for everyone. Just in time for the holidays, the stocking stuffer package is here. 4 half-pound packs of jerky for $55. And as always, free shipping in Alberta-wide. For more details, visit albertajerky.com. All right, Struddy, here's what I got. Well, I'm going to go off of what you said earlier. I got 6 brownie points for Patrick Laine. 3 goals tonight, all on the PP. I mean, how good is the Montreal Canadiens power play got just by having an injured player coming back? I think he's got 6 goals in 7 games. I think 5 of those at least are on the power play. So good on Patrick Laine. I've always been a fan of him. I hope he has success. He's healthy again and helping the Montreal Canadiens. I have 100 brownie points to my buddy Struds. I don't know if you've noticed this, people out there, but the last 2 New York Giant home games, an airplane has flown over the stadium sending messages to the ownership. So during their 9th straight loss on Sunday, there was a airplane pulling the sign saying, "We won't stop until you fire everyone." And I'm thinking in my head, they haven't found the guy. I think he went by the name Miguel. He's not saying who it is. And I'm like, who has that kind of smack? Who's got that kind of money that can afford a plane? I did notice Struds. I did notice Struds with his little pilot hat on the other day. I'm not saying, but Struds may have been involved. I got 93 brownie points to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and the Edmonton Oilers, who spent this afternoon at 4 different hospitals visiting children. The Oilers do it every year. They don't do it for any publicity. They do it because they're good people. They're good humans. So I just want to send out a little love to the Oilers organization, visiting a bunch of children in the hospital here at Christmas time. We wish all those kids the best, their families the best, and we hope that today, with the Oilers being there, gave them a little bit of happiness while they're in the hospital. I've got 20 brownie points for Schauger, who's driving through minus 20-degree weather and 10 to 15 centimeters of snow to move his kid back from Saskatchewan. You know what? He's not dumb. A week till Christmas, he's looking to say, all right, there might not be enough presents for Daddy under the Christmas tree. I'm going to do something good. Dad of the year is right now on a highway, probably driving in a snowstorm. So good for Schauger. He doesn't know it, but he got 20 more brownie points. And the last one, I'm taking away 41 brownie points from Jonathan Taylor. You ask who that is. He is the running back of the Indianapolis Colts, who the other day ran 41 yards through the entire Denver Broncos defense, sprinting into the end zone. In 1 foot before he got into the end zone, he started celebrating, and he dropped the ball before he crossed the line. The Denver Broncos picked it up, and instead of 7 points for the Indianapolis Colts, the Denver Broncos took over possession on their own, I think, 20 or 25-yard line. So Jonathan Taylor learned a valuable lesson. We do not celebrate until we have scored the touchdown. And that, Struds, is brownie points.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, I don't understand why those guys just don't run it all the way in. Like, is it cool to drop it, right as you cross the end zone because it makes it look easy or something? I don't get it.
You just carried it for 41 yards. Why not carry it? Yeah, you're right. Carry it back to. There might be a new rule if you're the coach. You're carrying it back all the way to the sideline. I want every touchdown. I want you to give me the ball as the coach. That way I know you're crossing it. But yeah, that was a big turning point in that football game too.
Huge. And just, you'd feel like such a dog.
Oh, can you imagine? Back. It was a 41-yard, like he went through the entire team. I felt bad.
Everyone's looking at you. You're like, what the hell are you doing? I don't know. I was being a hero. Oh, okay. Well, don't do it again.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you? Anyways, that's the end of this segment. We will be back after these next commercials for Take a Lap, In the System, Ask Us Anything, and Struds will have the play of the day.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that just leads to better living.
Next up, my good friend Jason Strudwick is going to take us on a lap, brought to you by Aecon. With over 150 years in the construction industry, Aecon has spearheaded some of the most notable projects across Canada. They are one of Canada's original leaders in heavy industrial contracting, operating across North America and proudly here in Edmonton. If you are looking for a great company to work with, visit aecon.com and click on Join Our Team. Struds, what do you got?
Starting the Toronto Maple Leafs, Anthony Stolarz. Today, Brad Trively, the GM, said he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. Had he called it a pebble on the back of his knee. And they had to go in there and get a surgical procedure to remove that. He wasn't able to fully flex his legs, so it wasn't working anymore. So they're getting it done now and organized, and they move on. So this has been a really good goaltender. I think his save percentage is around like 927. So he's done a really good job for them. So now it falls on the shoulders of one goalie that's been there, and he's played pretty well. But that's obviously Wall. I think they'll call that, is it what, Hillaby, I think, or Hildy, whatever, this young player from the Marty. So anyways, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. Great start to the year, but now, could get a little rocky for him as they move forward.
Yeah, and you feel for him because this is his big break. He's been kind of a journeyman. He's been, I believe he actually stopped in Edmonton on his journey at one point. I think he played one game here or 2 games here. And he's having a fantastic season. I don't know, comeback of the year type of season. And has been excellent for the excellent for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So here's hoping that he comes back healthy and continues on with what he had been doing so far this year, because it's been that good a year for he and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And my last one here, back to New York with the Rangers. And on Sunday afternoon, Capo Caco was scratched for a loss, on Sunday. So he was talked on Tuesday today. He was talked a little bit about how he felt, and he said, "I was surprised. I know you got to do something as a coach when you're losing games, but I think it's just easy to pick a young guy and boot him out." And then he goes on, and this is the beautiful one. This is what I'd be raising my eyebrows as a teammate. "I haven't been on the ice too much when opponents score a goal. I have not been the worst guy, but that was me out of the lineup." And that comes from Molly Walker. Reporter, a cool reporter out there in New York. So again, I'll just read that last little bit. "I have not been the worst guy, but that was me out of the lineup." So not only is he, going at his coach, now he just threw some group of people under the bus, suggesting that he isn't the worst one. Why don't you take out someone who's actually bad instead of me?
Yeah, you know what? I can understand his frustration and being a young player, and he hasn't been happy with what he's been given as an opportunity his entire time in New York. But you can't throw a teammate under the bus. You can say I'm unhappy. I don't understand anything you want, but you keep it within you and the coach. You do not say I'm better than Jim. There's no way that Jim should be playing still because Jim sucked last game. Why am I the guy out? That will not go well in a New York Ranger dressing room right now, Struds. That right now, I don't think anybody's happy. So that just makes it a little bit worse. Well, that is Take a Lap with Struds, brought to you by Acon. Now we're going to go in the system, brought to you by Longshot Indoor Golf and Sports Bar. Their premium indoor golf facility is equipped with state-of-the-art TrackMan technology, perfect for golfers of all levels, even for Schauger. Whether you're looking to eat, drink, and play or just watch the game, Longshot Sports at Bar Atmosphere and fully licensed kitchen and bar will not disappoint. Check them out in Sherwood Park or visit www.longshots.ca. That's Longshots with a Z.
The Bakersfield Condors earned a 3-2 victory over the Toronto Marlies on Sunday, never falling behind in the game. The win marked Toronto's first regulation home loss of the season. The Condors had lost 6 consecutive games prior and sit 8th in the Pacific Division. 2021 6th-round pick Matvei Petrov opened the scoring with his 3rd goal in 2 games, while Lane Peterson's power play tally, his 2nd goal of the weekend, proved to be the game winner. Olivier Rodrigue stopped 27 of 29 shots to notch his 6th win of the season, and 2016 3rd-round pick Cam Dineen extended his point streak to 5 games with an assist. Matthew Savoy is goalless through his last 10 games and has 4 points over that span. Seth Griffiths still leads the way for the Condors with 16 points in 21 games. 2022 5th-round pick Samuel Jansson has yet to lose a start this season in Sweden, posting an 11-0-0 record with a .941 save percentage and a 1.35 goals against average. Sam O'Reilly has picked it up from his sluggish start with 13 points in his last 10 games, including 7 goals. 2024 7th-round pick William Nicholas 32 points in 31 games this season. Bo Akey hasn't scored since November 15th, but will represent Team Canada at the World Juniors this Christmas. I'm Ryan Reed, and that's what's happening in the system.
Well, thank you, Ryan Reed, for that. And thank you for Steve-O right now. Steve-O's on your game tonight. I mean, Struds, you've been good, but I'm giving Steve-O first star tonight. He has been so good with everything. I haven't even told him what I'm doing. I'm just throwing stuff to him, and right away he's got it on there. So good on you. So let's see what he's going to do right now. Is we are going to do Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. With recent news of the Bank of Canada lowering rates, now is the perfect time to revisit your mortgage options. If you need it to renew your mortgage, don't just sign those papers. Maria Gallus with Maximal Mortgages can take care of finding you the best rates and work with your best interests in mind. Contact Maria today at mortgagesbymaria.ca for all your mortgages need. All right, what do we got, Steve-O? Well, first of all, how nervous do you think right now is Schauger? He's driving right now. His stress level is through the roof, not from the snow, not from bringing all the stuff back, but wondering what we're doing on this show right now. He's like, I'm sure he's calling Randine. He's like, okay, are you watching it? What are they doing? How bad are they? Are they screwing it up? Have they sworn yet? Like, are they drinking on air? Tell me, help me. So I bet you right now his stress level is 10 out of 10.
I bet, 100%. Yeah. The combination of the show happening without him and the driving through that weather has got to make the blood pressure high for sure. Yeah, we know it. All right, so lots of great questions on the stream tonight, and thank you everyone for all the great comments. There's a lot of different fans from different teams. Everyone's getting along really well. It's a really healthy chat tonight. Let's bring this one in just for fun from Noah Rinsky. He says, ask us anything. Would either of you guys consider being on an NHL coaching staff? Is that something that you'd ever want to do? Let's start with you, Struds.
No, it's not. And I think it'd be a lot of fun, but I had opportunities when I was done playing to go start in the American League and work my way up as a coach. And I was interested, but I believe to be a coach, you have to be all in, and you're there all the time. And I think I can't spend as much time with your kids as you like. And I don't blame the guys for that. I just don't choose that for my lifestyle. And then by the time my kids are, gone, I'll be 55 and they'll be like, nobody will want me. So, and even my wife.
Well, I think that's already happening.
She didn't want you at 40. Don't worry about
that. Right. Maybe I'll have more time. So maybe I'll change my mind at 55. No, I think it'd be great, but it's just all in. And that's not for me. No.
I agree. And first of all, when I'm 55, no one will want me. I'm 56. Let's not throw 55 as being over the hill yet. Sure. I mean, I might feel it some days, but I agree though. It's a lot of work. Like when I played, the coaches would come in at 9 o'clock the same time you did, and they'd leave by noon. Now they're there first thing in the morning. They're there all day. They're doing video, and the stress level's through the roof. I enjoy analyzing. I enjoy doing podcasts, being on radio, win or lose. I get to home smiling and hang out with my family. So I do think it would be a pretty cool job. I think just being around the guys, the camaraderie would be the really cool thing. But I honestly don't have the work ethic to be able to be a coach in the National Hockey League.
Okay, let's go to ADN, who wonders, could a puck in the face make Hyman tentative in front of the net? I got hit in the face playing baseball and was a bit flinchy after, but also I'm not Zach Hyman. So yeah, what are your thoughts on ADN's comment? Do you think that will affect Zach Hyman's presence in front of the net at all? Brownie?
I don't. I think there will be a little tentativeness just the first time Bouchard winds up. I mean, it's human nature, but I think once you get into the game and once you are, fighting for, position in front of the net, you forget about it. Just like when I talked to Nugent Hopkins and Ryan today, they were more nervous about it in practice than they are in a game. But yeah, most normal, sane people, once you get hit in the face with a puck, are probably going to stay about 10 feet further away from the net. Most hockey players aren't sane, Struds.
Yeah, I'm guessing Aiden didn't get hit in the face when he was playing for the Major League Baseball team, Toronto Blue Jays. So Zach Hyman's got about $5 or $6 million reasons to get in there and to get in front of the net. So he'll get back out there. Yeah, it's you do get a little gun shy, but It's the first. It's like anytime you get hurt, the first time you get hit or whatever, punched or whatever, you're like, oh, is it okay? Or, and then you realize you're okay, and you'll get back in the groove because he loves the game.
All right. James Barrels says, what about Nuge centering Skinner and Brown? He's not doing much at 5-on-5 right now.
So then you're keeping the big guys together?
Yeah, I don't. I think they just like RNH with Hyman and McDavid. They just feel comfortable. It's like the pillows that Struds have in his bed right now. He's so comfortable with them. He just doesn't want to change it. I think Connor McDavid enjoys having RNH as his winger. So I don't know. And I don't know Chris Knobloch's thought process at all, and I've never asked him, but just from afar, it looks like the trust level for Jeff Skinner isn't high, and I don't know if his commitment to get Skinner going is there. I mean, he just everything that I've seen thus far, Jeff Skinner is not in the I fully trust this player category for Chris Knobloch, so I don't see him moving players around for Jeff Skinner's sake.
Yeah, you know how you know you're right? He hasn't played up there. Like that just tells you. Coaches, they don't have to ask the coach a question. Just see how he plays his players. That's where he feels they should be. So, I you could try that line, but I still want Leon O'Connor on different lines more often than not. So that doesn't work if you have that line together.
All right, our friend Gord Parchewski with an interesting one. He says, people say winning is everything. Would you guys rather have had McDavid's career or Eichel's? So let's say both their careers end tomorrow. And obviously McDavid, all the awards and accolades, except for that one thing that he really wants. So, what do you guys think? Whose career would you want if it were to end tomorrow?
Either. I'd rather have either of their careers. I know what my career was. I know what my bank account is. Give me either one. If Connor McDavid retires without a Stanley Cup, it does not take away from Connor McDavid of being one of the greatest that ever played. Jack Eichel, when he retires, I didn't have those points, I didn't have those awards, but I got a Stanley Cup. I don't think I couldn't differentiate between the two, really. I think both of them are in a zone that I can't even think of. It is so far above what I am as a player that I can't even imagine turning down, saying, "Oh, this one's better," because they're both way better than what I ever accomplished. So, to me, I'd want both.
Is Jack uncle? Are you his uncle? Or is he your nephew or something like that? Let's be serious. You don't think there's a player in the NHL who would say I'd be Connor McDavid? 100% I would. Wouldn't even be a question. That's like I think Jack Eichel's one of the better players of his generation, but not one of the better players of all time. So there is no doubt in my mind. You ask 100 NHLers, 99 of them are going to say Connor McDavid. The 100th is Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel.
He has to say Jack Eichel. So I'm sorry, man. Like, I hate to disagree with you, Brownie, that strongly, but it's not even close.
I said, but I wanted both. I didn't say either. I want both of their careers.
Well, the question was, which one? You're riding the pine, or not riding the pine, you're riding on the fence.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence.
Yeah, like just pick one. Oh my God, that was the longest answer to get to that.
Okay, I changed my answer. He convinced me. Connor McDavid.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's one of the top 5 greatest players of all time. Well, you know what? It's nice to win a Stanley Cup. Yeah, I'd rather be the best player ever, not win a Stanley Cup.
All right. During In the System, this one came in from Ro Nelson. Says, looks like Philp peaked at preseason because he looked way better in Edmonton than he does at Bakersfield. Slower, like the year missed, caught up. Savoy doesn't look like he's having any fun at all. What do you guys think about what those guys are doing right now versus what we saw with them with the Oilers, and are they going to come back to that?
In all honesty, I have no idea because I haven't seen either one play. I don't follow Bakersfield. When Noah Philp was up here, he was very good. I was hoping the games down there would allow him to find his groove at a consistent level to come up here and play. But honestly, Struds, I don't know if you follow. I have no idea. I know. I honestly, I don't even know if I could tell you the coach and this is bad on me, but I don't know if I could tell you the coach's name in Bakersfield.
Yeah, Chalk.
So
his last name is
it
Chalk.
Colin Chalk?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't say if they need a new coach because I've followed zero about Bakersfield.
Yeah, so I check in on the stats every now and then, see how guys are doing, and then I try to read some things that people put in. And the one thing I noticed, I think it's from Bruce Kurlock, I believe he said that he feels like they're not really playing the young guys; they're playing more of the older guys. Which, I get you're trying to win, especially the team has been winning a lot. But what you do in the minors is it, and your point totals or lack thereof, isn't always a reflection of how you're actually playing. Like Noah Philp, they don't need him to get a point a game down there. That's not going to be his role here. He's got to be steady, win face-offs, penalty kill, chip in offensive when he can. So I wouldn't be too worried about it on an individual player. Maybe on the whole, you can be worried about the team. But those individuals, especially Philip, I think he's a half step away from the NHL. Like I think he's really close.
Okay, so an interesting one from Noel Rinsky came in, and I just quickly checked this, and it was indeed Tony Brar who mentioned it on Twitter and has a video to go along with it. But he said, can we talk about the biggest news from practice today? McDavid was using black stick tape. So that's something he hasn't seen before. And do you guys have thoughts on that? What did you go back and forth between black and white at all? And what did you stick with? And what are your thoughts? Brownie.
I only use black tape, and I don't know if it disguised the puck coming in, if it just gave me a split second longer for the goalie to be able to pick it up instead of on the white tape. I always use black tape. And it's funny, one thing that I did, I don't know if many ever do, I always went toe to heel when I taped my stick. Everyone else does the opposite. My dad taught me that as a kid, and I stayed my entire career toe to heel when I taped my stick. So as for Connor McDavid, I have no idea. Maybe they ran out of white tape in the dressing room. Maybe he wanted to try something different. I'm not sure Connor really. Usually when a guy changes a tape or changes a color or changes something, it's because they're struggling and they're trying to snap out of it.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid, he's got 13 points in his last 6 games. I'm not sure Connor McDavid needs to snap out of anything. So it's kind of funny that media guys recognize that. I could have watched Connor McDavid's practice day. I would not have noticed that.
Tony Brar loves sticks. He is a stick fanatic. He's all about it. He and it's neat. Like everyone's got their thing, and I think it's really cool that he notices those details. I always felt that if you're going to use white tape, you better score a lot. So I never put it on. I thought it looked so cool, especially when the guys use a black puck and they cover it. Like I love the look. Mine was I would actually paint the bottom of my stick black, put black tape on it. I want it to look like something Conan the Barbarian might have used as he assaulted the castle. So
you can do that now. Do you wear it now with the kid? Do you use it now with the kids, Struds?
I still the same stick. Yeah. Actually, the paint or the wrap on it's coming off.
Come on.
It's an old Easton. It's probably like 15, 20 years old, this stick. But man, the mitts are good. Brownie's seen them. Mitts are tight.
I've seen him. Seriously, he has not lost a thing. Hasn't gained anything, but has not lost a thing.
There's a lot to lose.
You went from having like a new stick like every game, multiple a week potentially, to going with just the last one. Did you know it was going to be your 15-year stick when you started?
No, because I have a few. Like you gather them over the years, right?
Right.
So I have a couple, but I mean now I don't ever shoot hard. I mean my passes are dimes, just dropping dimes. I look like Magic Johnson on the floor, but that doesn't ruin your stick.
It's funny that talking about sticks. At the end of my career, I was using Easton, I think it was Easton, the aluminums where you put the blade in them.
Yeah.
And they stopped making them, but Brendan Shanahan in Detroit was using them. But Brendan Shanahan used one per period, and then he wouldn't use it anymore. Our trainer called the Detroit Red Wings trainer, and I had a bunch of his used sticks sent to me, and I would use them for the last 3 years of my career. I just used Brendan Shanahan sticks because to me it wasn't the stick; it was the hands that were holding the stick. But I was using used sticks from Brendan Shanahan.
All right, let's wrap up the poll here. So the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center poll. Again, the question was which line will Jeff Skinner be on come April? And so the most popular answer, agreeing with you guys, was or with Struddy anyway, was elsewhere. So that could mean any number of things, but I think Oiler fan is just thinking he's probably better off somewhere else. Next was third line at 34%, and then second line 15%, and fourth line at only 8%.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I never knew that you guys actually did the end of the poll. I've never been on this.
Yeah, well, sometimes we forget, but yeah.
But I want to make it clear, I'm not running him out of town. I just think that sometimes it's just relationships, it doesn't work. And I don't know if there's animosity. I doubt it. It's just like, hey, this isn't working out. There's something better for both of us somewhere else, right? So I think they'll move on.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Final thing we have is the play of the day.
Oh, yeah.
My good friend Jason Strudwick, brought to you by Gallery Dental. From air polisher cleanings to advanced treatments, Gallery Dental offers a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team provides personalized care with the latest technology to ensure that you get the best treatment possible. Contact gallerydentalYEG.com.
Overtime winner, Ricard Raquel. He was just flashing, skated from the right side to the left side in front of the netminder. What's his name? Carlson shoots it from the point, and he tips it from the left side of the goaltender back to the right side, bar down in, game winner in Pittsburgh. Celebration was played all night. So nothing like scoring an OT winner on a pretty awesome deflection from Ricard Raquel.
Well, they need a lot more of those from Ricard Raquel if the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to get back into the playoff picture. Well, I just want to thank Struds. I want to thank Steve-O. This is the first time I've ever ran the show.
Hosted.
Shogger.
You killed it.
We did it. We did it.
Buddy.
We did not drive the plane into a mountain. We survived it. So everybody, I hope you had a wonderful night. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you later. We'll see you.
You have no idea how to end the show because you've never heard the end of the show, do you, Brownie?
I've never seen the end of the show. So bye from Got Your Back. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.